Hello students, I will continue the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. In the previous video we have studied about the properties of genetic material. So now the continuation of the same topic. As we all know, all the living organisms consist DNA as genetic material. So what is the reason for the occurrence of DNA as genetic material? Already we have discussed the four important properties, among which one property is very important to select a chemical component, a biomolecule as genetic material, that is its structural and chemical stability. The genetic material should be stable enough not to change with different stages of life cycle, age, or with change in physiology of the organism. Since the DNA is more stable, DNA is structurally stable than the RNA, it is found as genetic material in all the living organisms. The DNA is structurally stable because the two strands, being complementary, if separated by heating, they will come together when appropriate conditions are provided. The another important reason why the RNA is not found as genetic material is the presence of an additional OH group in the second carbon atom of pentose sugar. The 2' OH group present at every nucleotide in RNA is a reactive group, and that makes RNA labile and easily degradable. And RNA is also known to be catalytic, and hence it is very reactive, so because of which RNA is not found as genetic material. And the DNA is chemically less reactive and structurally more stable when compared to RNA. This is a major reason why the DNA is found as genetic material in all the living organisms. And the one more very important thing for the stability of the DNA, that is the presence of thymine at the place of uracil. So it also confers that additional stability to the DNA molecule. Therefore, among the two nucleic acids, the DNA is a better genetic material. Now, so let me show one video which is explaining the structure of DNA, particularly the polynucleotide chain. Just watch this video. So this is a double-stranded DNA. At the time of a study or discovery of a double helix model, the various data were collected by different scientists. So here you can see the two strands of DNA, the ultra structure, the nucleotides, deoxyribose sugar, as well as phosphate groups, and the nitrogenous bases are shown here. And the backbone is made up of pentose sugar and phosphate group, pentose sugar and phosphate group. And internally, the nitrogenous bases are arranged right angle to the backbone, thymine base pairs with adenine, cytosine base pairs with guanine. Between cytosine and guanine, triple bonds are found. Between thymine and adenine, 2 hydrogen bonds are found. And the strands, one strand is running from 5' to 3' direction, another one is 3' to 5' direction. So that's why the strands are anti-parallel. So this shows the anti-parallel nature of the DNA strands. The complementary base pairing in the structure of DNA allows the replication to be executed in semi-conservative manner. So each strand of the DNA molecule is used as template in DNA replication. So this is about the structure of polynucleotide chain, especially in the DNA molecule. Now, let us move to the next very important topic, that is DNA replication. Then what is mean by DNA replication? It can also be known as DNA amplification or DNA duplication, nothing but the production of daughter DNA molecules from the parental DNA molecule. The process of production of daughter DNA molecules from the parental DNA molecules is called as DNA replication. And specifically the mechanism of DNA replication is called as semi-conservative DNA replication. Then what is mean by semi-conservative DNA replication? See, during the DNA replication, if the daughter molecules consist one of the parental strand and another newly synthesized strand, That mechanism is called as semi-conservative DNA replication. And always during the DNA replication, all the daughter DNA molecules consist one of the parental strands and another newly synthesized strands. So this scheme of DNA replication is termed as semi-conservative DNA replication. In all the living cells, for example, the DNA replication mechanism was first studied in Escherichia coli bacterial cells. So in the living cells such as Escherichia coli, the process of replication requires a set of catalysts. So these catalysts are the biocatalysts, specifically known as enzymes. So there will be the involvement of a large number of enzymes during the DNA replication mechanism. Since it is the biochemical synthesis or biosynthetic phase, there should be the involvement of various types of enzymes. The main enzyme involved in the DNA replication, the major enzyme involved in the DNA replication, that is DNA dependent DNA polymerase. See, DNA replication is nothing but production of new DNA molecule. So the major enzyme involved in this process is DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme. Then why it is named so? The reason is the DNA polymerase enzyme can synthesize new DNA strand only in the presence of another parental DNA strand. That parental DNA strand acts as a template that will direct the synthesis of new DNA strand. And always the newly synthesized DNA strand will be complementary to the template strand. Since it is a process of polymerization. Polymerization means the formation of a polymer, a chain, by joining of many number of monomers. Since the DNA nucleotides, specifically deoxyribonucleotides, are linked together to form a polynucleotide chain, this process is called as polymerization. So the enzyme involved in this process is called as polymerase. And these enzymes are highly efficient enzymes as they have to catalyze polymerization of a large number of nucleotides in a very short time. So the enzymes, particularly the DNA polymerase enzyme, should be very effective and highly efficient because they should join a large number of nucleotides within a short period of time. So they are too efficient. At the same time, not only do these polymerases have to be fast, but they also have to catalyze the reaction with high degree of accuracy. So the accuracy is very important. The function should be very specific one. They should join the specific nucleotides. If there is a variation in the sequence of any nucleotide, that causes mutation, and mutation leads to genetic defect. So that's why the functioning of DNA polymerase enzyme is very crucial, and that should be very specific as well as efficient one. The DNA polymerases on their own cannot initiate the process of replication. See, the DNA polymerase is a major enzyme involved in the DNA replication, but that cannot initiate the process. So some other enzyme is involved, other enzymes are involved in the DNA replication. A set of enzymes along with the DNA polymerase enzymes are responsible for the production of daughter DNA molecules, or responsible for the DNA replication. And the DNA replication does not initiate randomly at any place in DNA. That means the DNA replication begins at a particular site. There is a specific site for the beginning of DNA replication. Now, let me explain the mechanism of DNA replication. Just see here, these are the two strands of DNA. Actually, between these two strands, there is a hydrogen bond, but hydrogen bonds are not mentioned here, not shown here. Just observe the diagram. See, the two strands of DNA are running in opposite direction. So that's why the strands are called as anti-parallel. So these are the template DNA or the parental strands. Just remember, during the DNA replication, both the parental strands act as a template. That means both the DNA strands will synthesize a new strand. Complementarily, a new strands will be produced to these template DNA strands or the parental DNA strands. Now, the DNA replication begins at a particular site that is called as ORI site. To that ORI site, actually there is a difference in the number of ORI sites in prokaryotic DNA as well as in eukaryotic DNA. Normally prokaryotic DNA consists single oocyte, but the eukaryotic DNA consists many number of oocytes. So the helicase enzyme, a specific enzyme called as helicase enzyme, binds to the oocyte and it breaks the hydrogen bonds between the strands, and that causes separation of the DNA strands like this. See, the binding of helicase enzymes to the oocyte causes the breakdown of hydrogen bonds present between the strands, and the breakdown of hydrogen bonds present between the strands results in the separation of the parental strands, and it also causes unwinding of the parental strands. That's why helicase enzyme is also called as unwindase. Now see, during the separation of the parental strands there will be the development of stress. That stress will be removed by another enzyme. See, the separation of the parental strands results in the formation of a Y-shaped structure. This is called as a replication fork. This structure is called as replication fork. And the stress formed beyond the replication fork due to the separation of the strands is relieved by the enzyme called as gyrase. That enzyme is also called as topoisomerase, that will cause the formation of nick. That means it will cut one strand beyond the replication fork where there is yet to separate, and then it will rejoin after relieving the stress. So that's why the gyrase enzyme is also called as stress reliever. Now this is followed by the binding of another specific enzyme called as RNA primase. Actually, the RNA primase will bind to the 3' end of the separated parental strands. And in this diagram you can see, so here you can see the 3' end. Only one 3' end is exposed here. Another 3' end is yet to separate. So that means another strand consists 5' end at the same direction. Now, the RNA primase enzyme synthesizes RNA primer. RNA primer is a short segment of RNA which is produced at the 3' end of the parental DNA strand. In another DNA strand, many number of RNA primers are produced at regular intervals. In one parental DNA strand with the polarity 3' to 5', only one RNA primer is produced. In another parental DNA strand, that is with the polarity 5' to 3', many number of RNA primers will be produced. So this is a very important difference between these two parental DNA strands. Now, after the production of RNA primer is a short segment of RNA with 9 to 10 bases. The RNA polymerase 3 enzyme will come, and that RNA polymerase 3 enzyme joins DNA nucleotides to the 3' end of the RNA primer. So RNA primer acts as an initiator, that acts as a promoter. Just for the initiation of the process, the RNA primer is required. To the 3' end of the RNA primer, now there will be the addition of DNA nucleotides. That means the synthesis of DNA strand takes place, and just remember the nucleotides, DNA nucleotides are added by DNA polymerase 3 enzyme, and those DNA nucleotides are added complementarily to the template strand. So in this particular DNA strand, the synthesis of new DNA strand takes place continuously. So there is a continuous synthesis in this particular DNA strand. But in another strand, see, there is a discontinuous synthesis of new DNA strand. The reason is, in the another DNA strand with the polarity 5' to 3' produces many RNA primers. So to the 3' end of each RNA primer, there will be the addition of DNA nucleotides, so that many DNA fragments will be formed in this particular parental DNA strand. And this is discontinuous synthesis, and it leads to the production of fragments of DNA, and such fragments of DNA are called as Okazaki fragments. Such fragments are called as Okazaki fragments. The DNA strand in which continuous synthesis takes place is also called as leading strand. The DNA strand in which there is a discontinuous synthesis of DNA is known as lagging strand. So that two DNA molecules are formed, but in both the DNA molecules, one parental DNA strand consists RNA primers. So there is a need to remove the RNA primer, and after the removal of RNA primer, that should be replaced by the DNA nucleotides. That process is carried out by DNA polymerase 1 enzyme. DNA polymerase 1 enzyme. In another parental DNA strand, that is in the discontinuous synthesis, in that case, many RNA primers will be there. All the RNA primers will be replaced by the DNA nucleotides by the help of DNA polymerase 1 enzyme. And after that, some mismatched nucleotides will be replaced by the correct nucleotides by the help of DNA polymerase 2 enzyme. And that process is called as DNA proofreading. And after the completion of this DNA proofreading, after the completion of replacement of RNA primers, the fragments of DNA strands will be joined by the help of ligase enzyme. Once the ligase enzyme joins all the DNA fragments, that results in the formation of completed DNA molecules, so that at the end there will be the production of two daughter DNA molecules from one parental DNA. So this is about the newly synthesized strands. So this is about the diagrammatic representation of replication fork, or this is a diagrammatic representation of DNA replication. Now let me repeat, or let me continue the same mechanism of DNA replication. You can see the important steps or the points related to this mechanism. There is a definite region in DNA of Escherichia coli where the replication originates. Such regions are termed as origin of replication. Any mistake during replication would result into mutations. Furthermore, energetically, replication is very expensive process. So that is another important thing. The DNA replication requires more amount of energy. So that energy is supplied by the DNA nucleotide itself. So the DNA nucleoside triphosphates, means DNA ribonucleotides, serve dual purpose. That means they act as both the substrates as well as they also act as a energy source. So in addition to acting as substrates, they provide energy for polymerization reaction. The two terminal phosphates, triphosphate, from that two terminal phosphates in a deoxynucleoside triphosphates are high energy phosphates, same as in case of ATP. For long DNA molecule, since the two strands of DNA cannot be separated in its entire length, the replication occurs within a small opening of the DNA helix, and that opening which results in the formation of Y-shaped junction called as a replication fork. The DNA-dependent DNA polymerases catalyze the polymerization only in one direction. That means always the new DNA strand synthesis takes place in 5' to 3' direction. That means DNA nucleotides are always added to the 3' end only. So continuous linkage takes place to the 3' end. So the continuation or elongation of polynucleotide chain takes place in 5' to 3' direction. This creates some additional complications at the replication fork. Consequently, on one strand, that is with the polarity 3' to 5', that is the template strand, the replication is continuous, while the other, the template with the polarity 5' to 3', it is discontinuous. The discontinuously synthesized fragments are later joined by the enzyme called as ligase. So here you can see all the points are not mentioned. Even in our textbook, all the steps involved in the DNA replications are not mentioned. But I explain the entire mechanism of DNA replication. But you should remember these points for your exam. So this is about the machinery of DNA replication. Now I will show one video representing the mechanism of DNA replication. Just try to understand the mechanism of DNA replication by watching this video. Separation of the parental strands, and this occurs by the help of helicase enzyme. Now there will be the synthesis of RNA primer, and after this production of RNA primer, new DNA strand will be formed complementarily to the template strand, and always new nucleotides are added to the 3' end. The DNA replication begin at one particular site called as origin of replication. See, this is the origin of replication. The helicase enzyme causes breakdown of hydrogen bonds that causes separation of the parental strands and leads to the formation of Y-shaped junction called as replication fork. Now the enzyme RNA primase synthesizes RNA primer followed by the enzyme DNA polymerase 3, which joins DNA nucleotides to the 3' end of RNA primer. So those yellow colored short segment that represent the RNA primer, to the 3' end there will be the joining of RNA primer. See, in this particular strand, here you can see the helicase enzyme and the single stranded binding protein. See, the single stranded binding protein are responsible for preventing the rejoining of separated strands. Once the parental strands get separated, they should remain separated only. Otherwise, that cannot synthesize a new DNA strand. So that is carried out by the help of SSBP, single strand binding protein. A set of enzymes are involved here for the production of new DNA strands. So this is the lagging strand in which discontinuous synthesis of new DNA takes place. See, one more primer. See, here you can see two primers. Always to the 3' end there will be the joining of DNA nucleotides. That's why the segments or the fragments of DNA are synthesized in one parental template strand. But in the upper one, in the continuous synthesis, there is no production of many number of RNA primer. Only one RNA primer is produced. To the 3' end of that RNA primer, continuous joining of DNA nucleotide takes place. So this is a continuous synthesis here. But here discontinuous synthesis. So DNA polymerase 3 is responsible for the joining of DNA nucleotides. And then this RNA primer should be replaced. The RNA primers will be replaced later. So the same mechanism, the synthesis of new DNA strand, but here the fragments. So this is a DNA polymerase 1. DNA polymerase 1 replaces RNA primer with the DNA nucleotides. But there is a segment, the fragments, such fragments or the cut ends are joined by the help of ligase enzymes, so that two DNA molecules are produced from one parental DNA molecule. So this is about the mechanism of DNA replication. Now let me tell you some very important points related to DNA replication. In Escherichia coli, that has only 4.6 into 10 to the power 6 base pairs. That is the length of the DNA of Escherichia coli. Compare it with the human whose diploid content is 6.6 into 10 to the power 9 base pair, and it completes the process of replication within 18 minutes. So in Escherichia coli, the DNA replication will be completed within 18 minutes. That means the average rate of polymerization has to be approximately 2000 base pair per second. See, this represents the efficiency of DNA polymerase 3 enzyme. So in eukaryotes, the DNA replication takes place at the S phase of the cell cycle. S phase means is a synthetic phase in interphase. So always the DNA replication takes place in the S phase of eukaryotic cell division. The replication of DNA and cell division cycle should be highly coordinated. So there is a close relationship between the DNA replication and the cell division, and always the DNA replication is a precursor for cell division. A failure in cell division after DNA replication results into polyploidy. So if there is a defect in the DNA replication mechanism, that leads to polyploidy. Polyploidy is a chromosomal anomaly. The presence of more than two sets of chromosomes in the cell is called as polyploidy. Okay, dear students, the remaining topics will be discussed in the next video. Thank you.